Hello, everyone, and happy Onam to anyone who's celebrating. I hope that you're having a really special, beautiful time with your family and your loved ones. And even if you're alone at home, I hope you're feeling the beautiful, celebratory energy of Onam. So, happy Onam to everyone from many, many different parts of the world who are celebrating. And I hope that you had a good weekend. I definitely did a lot of thinking. I did a lot of taking time for myself, and that was good. And also reached out to some dear people who, I think needed just some time. So good to see all of you. And I know that Sunny, you just moved to a new apartment. So I hope that all that is also settling down well. And today I wanted to talk about an interesting topic, which is serving others when we're angry. it's it's an interesting topic to think about. And something that I was reading was that there was this anthropologist, Margaret Mead, who was asked by a student what she considered to be the first sign of civilization in a culture. And the student expected Margaret Mead to talk about, some sort of hunting tool or clay pots or grinding stones or fish hooks. And instead of that, Mead said that the first sign of civilization in an ancient culture was a femur that had been broken and then healed. A femur is a thigh bone. So, a thigh bone that had been broken and healed was the first sign of civilization. And Margaret Mead said that in the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you don't survive. You cannot run from danger, you cannot get to the river for a drink of water, you cannot hunt for food. You just basically you die if you hurt your leg. And you become meat for other prowling beasts. And so no animal survives a broken leg long enough for the bone to heal. However, in human beings, a broken femur that has healed is evidence that someone has taken time to stay with the one who fell and has bound up the wound, has probably carried the person to a safe place and tended to that person through recovery. And that's why helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts, according to Margaret Mead, the anthropologist. She says we are at our best when we serve others, and that shows our civilized nature. So it's an interesting concept, right? And someone asked me how to teach this aspect to children. How do we teach children the importance of helping and serving others? And as usual, as I was, researching this topic, I found that neuroscientists have discovered that the human brain has neural networks that are hardwired with the ability to share the experiences of others, including emotions and sensations. And biologists have arrived at a conclusion that babies are innately sociable and helpful to others. Of course, any animal must, to some extent, be selfish to survive. There is that instinct. But biologists also see in humans a natural willingness to help. Infants will help with information as well as in practical ways. From the age of even 12 months, they will point at objects that an adult pretends to lose. And over time, it seems that many children lose this altruistic nature that they're born with. So, I wanted to share a very interesting story by Charlene Hess. She's a mother of two, and she gave the example of what she tried with her children. She has two children, Jennifer, who's 5 years old, and Eugene, who's 6, who keep fighting. And I'm going to quote Charlene after this. Jen and Eugene had again been at each other's throats. Telling them to be nice wasn't working. Sending them to timeout and punishing them for fighting wasn't working. And as a mother, it's not my job to follow my children around all day and tell them what to do and how to play so that I can guarantee that they're making correct choices. My job as their mom is to teach them how to make better choices. So I pulled Jen and Eugene aside and I told them I was concerned by the amount of fighting they were doing. And they both launched into this blame game and telling me, how it was this one's fault and that one's fault and etc. etc. Now, I didn't want to hear any excuses. I knew this was a teaching moment. So I told them they were going to do some service for each other to help them remember that they love each other. I told them that they had to come up with 3 good deeds to do for the other person. Of course, they whined and cried as expected. And let's be real, it is hard to serve those we're angry at. But serving when we're angry is perhaps even more important than just serving when we're happy or serving those we love. Serving those we're angry at is important. Eugene, who's 6, whined and grumbled for a few minutes, but then he thought of something. The children had a bathroom that they shared, and he decided to go clean it. He worked so happily and did such a good job. When he came back, I told him that it would count as 2 of the 3 things, but he couldn't think of any other nice thing to do for Jennifer. So I gave him some suggestions since he is, after all, only 6 years old, and he decided that filling up her water bottle would be a good choice. And Eugene was happy. He remembered that he loved his sister Jennifer again, and he was nice to her for the rest of the night. Now, Jennifer, on the other hand, was angry. She cried and whined, and, she was just mad at Eugene. She didn't want to serve him or perform any acts of kindness to him. She hemmed and hawed and dilly-dallied until I finally told her she needed to go to her room until she could think about what she wanted to do for her brother Eugene. She threw a fit, and she was basically in a tantrum. Eventually, though, she calmed down and she came out to serve. I didn't even know that she had, gotten over herself until I heard the vacuum cleaner running upstairs. And then I realized she was cleaning Eugene's room. She ended up doing 3 good deeds for Eugene without any prompting or pushing from me. And she was nice to him and loving to him for the rest of the night. And I actually think this is a useful idea for adults, says Charlene Hess, mother of Jennifer and Eugene. And I loved that story. I do think it is something that's useful for adults, especially now that we're all cooped up at home, right, for months on end. For many of us, it's been 5.5 months of primarily being at home. Can we do something nice for our family members, for our spouse, our parents, our siblings, even though we're mad at them? I think it's actually quite sweet to see if you can do something nice for someone even when you're irritated. So I'm curious if you'll try it and let me know whether it works, whether it helped to dissipate that moment. And I do want to also mention at the same time that I have grappled at the other extreme of this, and I had to do a lot of unlearning and resetting of my own inner mindset. I got to that point where I would serve others by sacrificing my own needs or even my own health or sleep. And when you go to an extreme of other centeredness, it doesn't help you in the long run, right? There needs to be a harmony in what you do to preserve yourself while also, helping others. You need to make sure that you have your own oxygen mask on. And then in that state of having what you need to survive and thrive, you can reach out, you can serve and help others. So I do want to make it very clear that serving others because you feel guilty or because you feel obliged or because you might feel that this may make them like you or approve of you more, this is not true service, right? And on the other side of the spectrum, doing something out of a savior complex, we all know that. We all know that this exists. Or a tendency to help others because you can see some long-term gain from them. This isn't really altruistic help, right? At a point where we're serving to get, I guess that's not serving anymore. So simply, I think seeing that interconnectedness, realizing that you do love this person, or even if it's a stranger, that you could do something without any expectation of return, and you could help them. You could be present for someone. You could share someone's load while you personally are doing okay, while you are in a healthy physical and mental state. That works out. And plus, if you are mad at someone, I do think that having a talk with them so they understand what triggered you, or what you felt was unfair, or how maybe you can both resolve this argument, even if it means maybe staying out of the kitchen when the other person is there, whichever one it is. Yeah. And while you're working that anger out, still seeing if you can serve each other. It's pretty sweet. And I think it worked for Jennifer and Eugene. So let's take a couple deep breaths. Breathing in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. And as we're doing this, maybe just taking a moment to see, is there someone I'm a little bit irritated with right now? And why is that? And I'm sure for most of us at home, there's at least, these little minor irritants. Maybe someone didn't wash the dishes like you would, or they were making noise when you were on a meeting, or they were insensitive. And still figuring out whether you could do something kind for them, remember why you love them, and still share with them what upset you, or if it was trivial enough, just getting over it. All right, beautifuls. I hope whatever week this is for you, I don't know, I've completely lost count. I hope that, you have a great week and you're kind to yourself first, and that when possible, if possible, you also see if you could serve someone. Love, 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 love. Mwah! Bye, and see you very soon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Ciao.